What's good, ladies and gentlemen? RFG is here today to bring you guys the history and the true culture of the samurai, the ninja, and the real reason that Japan was bombed during Pearl Harbor. Okay, this is going to be a very in-depth, in-detail lecture. So you know what I'm saying? This information right here is absolutely mind-blowing, and it was definitely fun to research and to learn new things because I actually learned a lot on this subject that I never heard in my life ever before. So you know what I'm saying, just pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you guys, because once again, most of everything we've heard about this nation, what they stood for and what they fought for is wrong. You see what I'm saying? Because that information was being given to us by the world's true enemy, which is the Zionist Jew. Okay? So without further ado, today's lecture is going to be on the samurai. Now, when you say the word samurai, okay, the word in the middle, okay, you have a prefix to words. You have a prefix, then you have a suffix, then you have a root word. Okay, the prefix to samurai would be sa, would be sa. Okay, the actual root word would have to be mur, mur. Then the suffix, okay, would have to be I, okay, which would be ai. Okay, samurai, mur. So the mur comes from the Moors, the Asiatic Moors, the Murs, the Moor people, the Moors. Okay, that's where you get the term Asiatic Moor. And when people started putting, a lot of this knowledge to the forefront about the black history, okay, the Moorish history in Asia, so much information was being uncovered and exposed that I guess certain film productions like Lionsgate were forced to make movies about the true history of Japan and of the Japanese culture. Okay, because according, you see what I'm saying, to my studies, you couldn't be involved in the samurai way of life, in the samurai culture, unless you had some kind of melanin, some kind of black ancestor, some kind of black parent, grandparent, or great grandparent. You had to have some kind of melanin, neuromelanin in your bloodline, in your DNA. Okay, so when we look at this picture, this right here is a samurai known as Yasuke. But what they're saying is, as far as this movie production about this black samurai called Yasuke, they're saying that this character, or this person who actually existed named Yasuke, was a African warrior who basically traveled to Pacific Islands and ended up landing in Japan and was taught the ways of the samurai. And they're trying to portray this movie like he was the only black samurai in history. Okay? But I'm here to tell you that's bogus and that's bullshit, because throughout this lecture, I'm going to show you the similarities between the samurai culture, the ninja culture, and the ancient Kemetic culture. Okay? And it cannot be a coincidence, because both of those cultures are technically one and the same. Okay? So here you have a picture right here, okay, of certain samurais, okay, back in the early 1800s, early to mid 1800s, even in the 1700s. But of course, this photo would have to be in the mid to late 1800s, because that's when photography, you see what I'm saying, was really created. So shows right here, back in the 1800s, you had plenty of this going on. You had plenty of certain masters in the samurai order, okay, having children with women who were Asiatic Moors. Okay, so their samurai children could have that neuromelanin. You see what I'm saying? The neuromelanin from who? From the mother. From the mother. You see? The neuromelanin from the mother, the mitochondrial DNA from the mother. The samurai had to have that kind of lineage, people, because the Zionist Jews know this information as well. Okay, they know this information that the mitochondrial DNA of every person on the earth goes back to their mother. And this is why this history was kept from us in schools. This is why, you see what I'm saying, the mainstream media, public education, school systems, and the movies, they never touched on this. Okay, they never touched on this because this right here, this photo right here, you see what I'm saying, is a microcosm of what the whole samurai order was about. Okay, the samurai order comes directly from a group of warriors known as the Medjai, and the Medjai, okay, comes straight from Kemet. Okay, just do your own research, and you can come to your own conclusion on that one. Okay, very, very, very mind-blowing information here. So once again, Lionsgate's coming out with a movie about a black samurai called Yasuki. But this photo right here basically proves that this has been going on in samurai culture and samurai society for a very long time, longer than what Lionsgate is trying to convince us. Okay, so right here we have a brief description of what the samurai stood for. You see what I'm saying? Who they were, and you know what they were about. Okay, the samurai were deeply connected with the spiritual philosophies of the Moors that came from Kemet. The samurai were basically the most spiritually in tuned warriors that ever existed on the planet. Let me repeat that. The samurai and the ninja were two of the most spiritually evolved warrior classes that ever existed on the planet. Okay? It's not a joke. You see, what this government does now, they think they're so advanced. They think they're so technologically ahead of everybody. They think they're so much better than everybody else. You see, I'm talking about the society that's been taken over by Zionist Jew supremacy. You see, Zionist Jew supremacy, they have the whole world thinking that whoever has the most artificial technology has the most power. Well, I'm here to tell you that whoever would think something like that has a calcified pineal gland, and their theology is completely backwards. Because the more you leave nature, the more you go away from nature, okay, the more dumb you are, actually. Okay, these samurai and these ninja warriors were the most spiritually inclined, the most spiritually evolved warriors on the planet. I don't give a damn if somebody tries to talk to me about the Navy SEALs, the Marine Corps, the Russian military, the Chinese military, you know what I'm saying, the Iranian military. That shit doesn't have anything on the true power and the true wisdom of these samurai warriors and these ninja warriors, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't have shit on it. Okay? I don't care what kind of artificial technology you show me, what kind of artificial technology you have. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference, people, because like I said, these samurais and these ninjas were the most lethal warriors in hand-to-hand combat in the history of the earth. Okay? And I know that's a bold statement. That's a very bold statement. But when we put that into perspective, something ended up happening, okay, to the people in that region. Okay, and that's going to tie in to exactly what I just said later on in this lecture. So just stay tuned and listen very carefully. Okay, this right here is a demonstration of the last ninja, okay, known in existence on this earth, who still practices the ways and the culture of the original ninja to enter Japan. You see, the ninja came to the forefront after certain dynasties took over Japan, and over a certain period of time, the samurai warriors, they became corrupt. Do your research. The samurai warriors, when the Moors, okay, fell out of power in Japan, the samurais became very corrupt. And certain people in the Japanese society didn't stand for the corruption going on with the samurai. So they broke apart from the samurai and they became a class of highly trained assassins, okay, known as the ninja. And these ninja were basically like the special forces of the ancient day. They were like the Navy SEALs of the ancient day. You see what I'm saying? Basically the greatest assassins to ever exist. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys this individual right here. He's the last ninja in existence still practicing their true culture.
The word ninja consists of two hieroglyphs, nin, which means to hide, to disguise, and the voiced sha, which means a man. The invisible man that 100 years ago could easily terrify the most courageous samurais, masters of disguise and sudden attack. They all were well-prepared experts in fireworks. A little bit of nitro, sulfur, and grinded coal. This simple mixture was an invariable part of armory of any ninja. It helped to confuse a foe and escape unnoticed. 64 years old Shinichi Kawakami is known as the last ninja of the century. He considers himself as a successor of an ancient clan that appeared more than 500 years ago in the mountainous outskirts of Iga City. Now it is Mie Prefecture. This is the homeland of ninja. He started to learn secrets of the ninjutsu, the martial arts of ninja, when he was 6. Here he shows the steel claws, which is thought to be a tool ninja had been using to climb sheer walls. But in reality, they never used it. This is just one of many fictions that were introduced to ninja afterwards. Kawakami-san says that the widespread image of the nasty spy, hired murderer, and terrorist has nothing in common with the real ninja. In the hierarchy of medieval society of Japan, ninjas were somewhere in between samurais and peasants. They lived in villages and used their skills to protect themselves, their families, and the community. Of course, when they were in inside feuds, they used their arts against their enemies. For that purpose, ninjas, alongside with well-known katana swords, had different kinds of weapons to neutralize their rivals swiftly and silently. This is what must have been included in the arsenal of every ninja. Iron Star or Shuriken, dangerous weapon. You throw it this way, hold it vertically, forefinger is parallel to the ground, middle finger holds lower part of the shuriken, the left leg is in front, right is back, target and throw. The main qualities that ninja must have are the clear mind, the nerves of steel, and the strong health. This is a mysterious ritual, interweaving fingers in 9 different figures. You're supposed to control streams.
This guy's about to dislocate his own shoulder and bring it back into place without feeling any pain.
Ninja has to be able to pull himself out of any traps. He must fully control his body and, for instance, shift his bones out of joints. I'll show you. We were the first to whom Kawakami-san had shown.
Wow.
But he as well admits that in today's world, to be a real ninja is practically impossible. Most of the skills, such as fireworks, darting the ninja stars, and making poisons, are just out of demand. In Japan, ninja has already become a mythologized hero, still very attractive. Young people think he is the niftiest symbol of Japanese culture. And at the same time, ninja is and probably will be an undiscovered mystery of the past forever. Сергей Менгажев, Алексей Печко, Вести, Mie and Fukui Prefectures, Japan.
Okay, so that basically sums that video up. The ninja culture as well as the samurai culture, okay, those were the two most spiritually evolved and spiritually advanced warrior classes to ever exist on this earth. And that whole science, that whole martial arts theology, okay, their practices and their culture come straight from Kemet and from Turtle Island, okay, the continent we're living on right now, Turtle Island. Okay, the Moors from Kemet were inhabiting this land as well. Okay, so when we look at the weapons, okay, that the samurai had, they were known for. The samurai were known for wielding a sword known as a katana, known as a katana sword. Okay, so this katana sword is known as the deadliest sword to ever exist on the earth. Now, let me explain something real quick. Let's look at the etymology of this word right here, katana. When we look at the prefix, okay, the first two letters of katana is Ka. The Ka is the Ka, okay? The Ka that comes from Kemet, the Ka meaning the spirit. The samurai believed that it was so much effort that was put into creating these samurai swords, so much effort, so much time. You see what I'm saying? So much creativity. Okay, so much effort into creating these samurai swords that the samurai believed these swords had their own spirit. Okay, they believed that these swords had their own spirit. Go do your research. Okay, that's why they named it the katana. The first two letters, okay, in katana are Ka, Ka, meaning the spirit. They believed that their swords had their own damn spirit. Okay, and actually, I'm about to prove that these swords do have their own spirit, because I'm going to show you guys how these katana swords are actually made. Okay, the steel production of these katana swords. Okay, this is going into the steel production now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it says right here that the swordsmiths will carefully break the kara apart and separate the various carbon steels. Carbon steels, okay? The lowest carbon steel is called Hocho Tetsu soft iron, which is used for the shingani, okay, of the blade. This high carbon steel and higher carbon called nabegane will then be forged in alternating layers using very intricate methods to form the very hard steel for the edge called hagani, and the springy metal jacket called kawagani. Okay, the most useful process is the folding, where the metals are forged, welded, folded, and welded again as many as 16 times. The folding removes impurities and helps even out the carbon content, while the alternating layers combine hardness with ductility to greatly enhance the toughness. Currently, tamahagani is only made 3 or 4 times a year by Nitoho and Hitachi Metals during winter in a wood building, and is only sold to the master swordsmiths to use once it is made. Okay, so when we look at this paragraph in a nutshell, it basically tells us without a doubt, okay, that carbon from underground, okay, carbon from inner earth has to be welded into the metal of the katana sword to create the katana sword, the samurai sword. And we all know that carbon is the real name for melanin. Okay, carbon is the real name for melanin. Okay, you can have gas carbon, you can have liquid carbon, you can have solid carbon. Okay, this carbon that gets welded into this metal, into this iron, is a solid carbon. So carbon is what creates all life on this planet. Carbon is the most responsible organic compound for creating life on this planet. It is carbon. Okay, so that literally gave the goddamn samurai sword its own electromagnetic frequency. Let me repeat that. The carbon used to create the samurai sword literally gave the samurai sword its own electromagnetic frequency, which means the samurai were indeed correct. Okay, their samurai swords had their own spirit, had their own electromagnetic frequency, people. Okay, this science and this this culture, this theology, this way of life they were indeed correct. Okay, samurai swords held their own spirit. Okay, so these samurai swords were basically the deadliest hand-to-hand weapons in existence on this earth. Okay, and we're about to prove that right here. This video isn't going to show the swords cutting through actual flesh. There are videos of samurai swords cutting through at least 3 pigs, at least 3 whole pigs. This is just going to show, I believe, the samurai swords cutting through some kind of wood source or some kind of bamboo source. I think it's some kind of wood. So you see what I'm saying? These samurai swords were extremely lethal in hand-to-hand combat, to the point that no other army or no other militant group could even match the capabilities of these samurai warriors. Okay, because these samurai warriors learned their way of life from the Medjai, who basically, you know what I'm saying, were the greatest warriors in existence on the earth, and they came they came straight out of Kemet. Okay, the Medjai. Okay, so let's look at the etymology of the word Japan, or how you say Japan in Japanese. How you say Japan in Japanese, that is Nihon. Okay, Nihon. And this is how you spell Nihon in Japanese. So right here, this is the Japanese way. This is the Japanese symbol for Japan. This right here is the Japanese symbol for Japan. And what's interesting is this symbol right here is a symbol of the sun. This is a symbol. This is the Japanese symbol right here of the sun, people. Right here on the left. Okay, that symbol right here on the left. The square that has a line through the square. That's the Japanese symbol for the sun. And I'm not too sure, but I think this symbol on the right has to mean the land of. The land of. So really, these two symbols right here that are Japanese for Japan, this has to mean the land of the sun. Okay. Right here, both Nippon and Nihon literally mean the sun's origin. That is where the sun originates. and are often translated as the land of the rising sun. Okay, so there you have it. The word Japan, the word Nihon, because that's how you say Japan in Japanese. You don't want to say it the way the Europeans say it. Okay, you want to say the name of the land off of the people who the land, you know what I'm saying, belongs to. It's whatever they call it, that's going to be the name of the land. So the name of Japan is Nippon and Nihon, which means the sun's origin, the land of the rising sun. Okay, this nomenclature comes from imperial correspondence with the Chinese Sui dynasty and refers to Japan's eastern position relative to China. Okay, and it basically means the land of the rising sun, because guess what? Both the ninja and the samurai were sun worshippers, just like the Magi and Kemet. Okay, just like all the other melanated civilizations across the earth. Okay, they worshipped the sun. They had a warrior class. Their society and their culture was all about honor. It was all about honor, dignity, and pride in your craft. Okay, straight from the Moors. There you go. There you have it. This is the Japanese flag. The Japanese flag is a sun with sun rays coming out of it. Okay, just like when we look in Kemet on the hieroglyphics in Kemet, there we have it. We have the sun with the rays coming out. Okay, so just like the Magi worshipped the sun because the sun is responsible for most life on this planet, the samurai and the ninja did the same thing in Japan. That's why the Japanese flag, okay, is a sun. It's basically a Kemetic sun, ladies and gentlemen. Right there in front of your faces. Also, okay, there were two major cities in Japan. One was called Hiroshima. The other one was called Nagasaki. Hiroshima, let's look at those first four letters. Hero, kind of like Heru, kind of like hero. You get the word hero, Hero, comes from Heru, because Heru was the hero in the Egyptian creation story. Okay, Heru was the hero who saved humanity from the darkness of Set. Okay, Heru brought the light. Heru was the hero. So when you talk about Hiroshima, Hiroshima means the city of the sun. Okay, Hiroshima, hero means Heru. And then Nagasaki, Nagas, okay, this word right here, Nagas, Nagasaki, okay, city of the serpent, where the serpent god dwells, where the serpent gods dwell, because the samurai, okay, were highly aware of serpent wisdom. That's why they named their own city, okay, Nagasaki, after the Nagas, after the Nagini. Okay, it's all in the words, people. It's all in the words. Okay, you can look at this right here. Okay, you can look at this and read this. Okay, this was the origin of the Nagas. Okay, right here in front of our faces. The uraeus or serpent crown shown on Egyptian and Nubian royalty, also known as the Nagar or the Nagas. Amongst many indigenous African cultures, the uraeus is a symbol of wisdom, power, and protection. Okay, serpent wisdom. Nagas, Nagini. Okay, Nagar, Nagas means serpent god. Okay, serpent wisdom, the highest form of wisdom one can achieve. Christ consciousness. Okay, serpent wisdom is Christ consciousness, activating your 13th chakra. Okay, and both the ninja and the samurai were fully aware of this knowledge system and this spiritual theology. Okay, this is Japanese writing. So when we look at Chinese and Japanese writing and most of Asian writing, this is going to blow a lot of people away, ladies and gentlemen. The Asian writing is so sacred because most of the Asian writing is hieroglyphics. Okay, the people in Asia were originally Asiatic Moors, and they kept their hieroglyphics. People, they kept their hieroglyphics. They didn't change over because the Chinese were never officially taken over by the Caucasoids. Okay, the Chinese, most of the countries in Asia anyway, were never really conquered or taken over by the Caucasoid. Okay, the Japanese were, but the Japanese still kept their writing system, which is a form of hieroglyphics. Okay, and how can I prove that? Well, if you do your research, Japanese, I believe Japanese and Chinese, they write from right to left. Let me repeat. The Japanese alphabet and the Japanese word and the Japanese technique of writing, when you write in Japanese, you write from right to left. So they wrote symbols just like hieroglyphics, and they wrote on their papers, okay, from right to left. So when you do your research, the hieroglyphics in Kemet are supposed to be read from right to left. Not from left to right, from right to left. So that shows without a doubt that the people in Kemet, the Asiatic Moors, okay, showed them the true way to write. Okay, these hieroglyphics is from right to left. Okay, I mean, this is really mind-blowing information here. Also, this is a definite nail in the coffin here. The Japanese had their own pyramids, people. The Japanese had a dynasty. The Japanese had a dynasty where Japan was under a matriarchy. The Japanese society, the Japanese civilization was under a matriarchal society with a female ruler when the samurai, okay, were at their peak, were at their golden age. They had pyramids, people, and they worshipped the sun, people. That's why the Japanese flag has the same sun as the Kemet, as the sun shown in Kemet, people. And see, they also built the pyramids. These pyramids were found right off the coast of Japan. Japan was part of a greater landmass before the pole shift. So now these pyramids are underwater off the coast of Japan. You see how huge these pyramids were? This is a person right here. Okay. And the name of these pyramids is called Yonaguni. Yonaguni, the Yonaguni pyramids of Japan. Okay. Japan also has a stargate called the Dragon's Triangle. You see, you have the Devil's Triangle in the Caribbean, but when you go over to Japan, you have the Dragon's Triangle, and the same spiritual anomalies that go on in the Devil's Triangle in the Caribbean. Okay, that goes on in the Dragon's Triangle in Japan as well. Okay, because those are both major stargate locations. Okay, high amount of spiritual energy, high amount of electromagnetic energy being emitted in that Japan area on the planet. Okay, very, very, very deep information. So this just shows without a doubt the connection between the samurai culture, the ninja culture, the whole culture in Japan, how it's connected to Kemet. Now we're gonna get into basically what went down, okay, with the Pearl Harbor situation and the bombing of Japan. Okay, I want you guys to pay attention to this information very carefully. It says on Pearl Harbor, it says in total 2,403 Americans died during Pearl Harbor. Okay, keep this number in mind. 2,403 Americans died in Pearl Harbor. That was that was an attack on American Navy ships by Japan. Okay, the Pearl Harbor date is December 7th, 1941. Keep that in mind. So supposedly, you see what I'm saying? Japan did attack those Navy ships, American ships, on December 7th, 1941. Keep that year in mind. Now, it says during D-Day, D-Day is when American soldiers landed in France to basically fight the Soviet Union, basically the people who are under Nazi control. And it says in D-Day that the Nazis, the people in the Soviet Union, killed 2,499 American soldiers. So in D-Day, the Nazis or the people involved with the Soviet Union, they killed 2,499 American soldiers. Okay? So when we look at the D-Day date, the D-Day date was 1944. 1944. Keep that in mind. So let me get this straight. In 1945, the United States government bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In 1945. So let's just look at this into perspective real quick. Let's look at this into this perspective. Now, the casualties in Pearl Harbor, okay, the American casualties were 2,403. The American casualties in D-Day were 2,499. So the Caucasians who killed the American soldiers in D-Day, they killed more American soldiers in D-Day than the American soldiers that died in Pearl Harbor. The Soviets killed more Americans than the Japanese. So please tell me, why in the hell did the United States government choose to bomb Japan over Germany? Why did the United States government choose to bomb Japan over Germany? Germany killed more American citizens and more American soldiers than Japan. Germany had a guy named Hitler who was supposedly America's top enemy. So wait a second, people. We got a big dilemma here. We got a very, very big dilemma here. The Soviet Union killed more soldiers, killed more U.S. soldiers than the Japanese. So why in the fuck did the American government bomb Japan over Germany? Well, this information is going to blow you guys away, man. Okay? This information is going to blow you guys away, people. Because right here, we're going to look at the date of Pearl Harbor, okay? Pearl Harbor happened. The Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor 1941. So you mean to tell me that Japan was the United States' greatest threat and Pearl Harbor happened in 1941? So Japan is this great big threat, but the United States government has to wait 4 years. The United States government waits 4 fucking years to retaliate against Japan? What, people? I really hope you guys can see what I'm saying and you guys can wake up and see the fuckery here. How in the hell do you wait 4 years to retaliate to somebody if they're really posing a threat to you? What in the hell makes you wait 4 years to go to war, okay, for your country? If you're, ladies and gentlemen, if your country is under attack, it's not going to take you no fucking 4 years to retaliate. Wake the hell up, people. Wake the hell up. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Japan was attacked and bombed. Okay? During Pearl Harbor. Okay, after Pearl Harbor, 4 years after Pearl Harbor, Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed because Japan had a war going on against China. Japan had a war going on against China, and Japan was about to take over all of the resources in China, and the United States could not have that. The United States could not have that. Japan was about to be the world leader in oil production, in all kinds of steel, metal manufacturing companies. Japan's industry was about to take over. Let me just put it to you like this. Go look on a map and look up China, okay, on a geographical map. If the United States would have never bombed Japan, all of that land that you see is labeled China, all of that land labeled China, it would have been labeled Japan today. Japan would have been that island in all of China if America would have never bombed Japan. Go look it up, people. Go look it up. Not only was Japan about to take over, okay, most of Asia, Japan was an ally of Hitler. And Japan was against the Zionist Jew bastards, just like Hitler. Okay? So the Japanese had full knowledge of the Americans and the Zionist Jews. And that's why the Japanese teamed up with Hitler, because they knew the fucking Zionist Jews were liars, thieves, and fucking beasts. Fucking beasts on this planet. Okay? Think about it, people. Why in the hell are you going to wait 4 years after you get slaughtered and attacked to retaliate? It makes no fucking sense. No sense, people. It's time to start putting two and two together. It's time to start putting the puzzle pieces together. Okay? Also, the Japanese were bombed not only because they were about to take over most of Asia and they were following Hitler, who had full knowledge of the true chosen people on this planet, and just like Hitler, the Japanese were trying to overthrow the Zionist Jews as well. I'm gonna have another lecture later on this week showing proof of that as well. The Japanese knew Hitler was telling the truth, that the Zionist Jews were fucking beast devils on the planet, and they deserve to be eradicated. Okay? That's why they attacked the United States during Pearl Harbor. And the United States let that shit happen on purpose because they knew Japan was about to take over most of Asia. But not only did America bomb Japan because they were about to be the most powerful country in Asia, they also, bombed Japan because Japan, they were the most powerful country that was tied to Kemetic spirituality. Let me repeat. Japan was the most powerful country that was tied to Kemetic spirituality. They had their way of the samurai. They had their way of the ninja. They had their way of Shinto. Okay? They had their way of Shinto, which is nothing but Kemetic spirituality. When you study this, the spiritual meaning of Shinto. Okay? It's basically the practice of understanding that all objects on the planet serve a purpose for the creator. And all objects on the earth emit a form of electromagnetic energy on the earth. Okay? Objects are either magnetized to Earth's magnetism, or they repel Earth's magnetism. Okay? The doctrine of Shinto basically teaches all of that. Okay? It teaches reincarnation. It teaches spiritual laws. Okay? Just like the 42 laws of Ma'at. The Japanese were the most powerful country in the world that was tied to this Kemetic spirituality, because the Japanese, ladies and gentlemen, are descendants of the Asiatic Moors. The Asiatic Moors. Okay? Also, the Japanese had a matriarchy system. The Japanese had a matriarchy system, okay? When they first started out with their civilization. And also, you see, the Japanese were bombed for the same damn reason that Tulsa, Oklahoma was bombed in 1921. Tulsa, Oklahoma was bombed because white society, Caucasoid society, Zionist Jew society could not stand to see melanated people on the top of the financial scale in the country. Okay? They couldn't stand to see melanated people financially independent and financially sustained, financially thriving. They couldn't stand to see that. So what does the beast do? What does the beast do? You know what I'm saying? The beast is a coward. The beast can't fight hand to hand. You see what I'm saying? Against the Moors or the Asiatic Moors, the beast can't fight hand to hand. So the beast, you see what I'm saying, goes behind your back and drops a bomb. And drops a bomb on you. You see? The beast, the goddamn Zionist Jews, could never in a million years fuck with the samurai in hand-to-hand combat. Never in a million years could they fuck with the ninjas in hand-to-hand combat. Okay? Any army on this planet in hand-to-hand combat would get completely annihilated and destroyed by the original samurai and the ninja. As a matter of fact, the original samurai, they had armor that was crystal bedded. The original samurai had armor that was crystal bedded, which means that bullets couldn't go through it, and even certain nuclear weapons, even certain radiation wouldn't be able to penetrate it. Okay? Go look it up. Certain crystals are the perfect absorbers of radiation. Okay? So the beast can't fuck with the samurai or the ninja. You see what I'm saying? Or the melanated people. You see what I'm saying? On this planet. So if they can't beat you in hand-to-hand combat, what they'll do is they'll drop a bomb on you, just like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They'll drop a bomb on you, just like they did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You see what I'm saying? Hiroshima means Heru, the sun, the city of the sun. Nagasaki, the city of the Nagas, of the Nagini, of the people with the serpent wisdom. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you see, they had to bomb that. They had to bomb those cities with that spiritual energy, with that comedic energy. They had to destroy it. They had to drop the bomb on it. They had to cancel that out. You see? Also, Japan, okay, Japan was under a matriarchy. Okay, Japan was once under a matriarchy. And I'm about to touch on this queen. Okay, this was the queen of Japan. And her name was Himiko. Queen Himiko. Okay, so if we open up this window here, we put in Queen Himiko. It'll come up right here. Okay, this was the first queen of Japan, and she ruled for a very long time. She actually ruled for 59 years. For 59 years she ruled. And when Japan, see, this was all the way back in 170 to 248 AD, ladies and gentlemen. Common Era CE, 170 to 248. Okay, they had a queen. Okay, which goes to show you these societies that are built off of the Moors, built off of the Asiatic Moors foundation, they were actually ran by queens at first. And I'm going to prove that because there's proof of original female rulers on every major continent. Okay, in every ancient society, they had female rulers. Okay, and the pyramids were built, okay, to basically house these female rulers. Okay, the same way ants build ant hills, and inside the ant hills lies the queen of the ant colony. You see what I'm saying? The Moors were the same way. The Moors built pyramids across the planet, and the queens of these societies, okay, lived underneath these pyramid structures. Okay, and if you study Queen Himiko, she was the first queen of Japan. Okay, they tried to actually throw out her information out of their archives until people, you see what I'm saying, started digging this up and started reading hieroglyphics on temple walls in Japan. Okay, they've been trying to tarnish and take away this true history of female rulers across the world. Okay, so Japan was tied to the samurai, the energy of the samurai, energy of the ninja. Okay, samurai sword, most deadly close combat weapon on the planet. Okay, Japan means land of the sun, land of the sun. Okay, they were worshippers of the sun, just like the people in Kemet. That's why their flag is the sun. Okay, you see the sun symbol in Kemet, just like the Japanese flag. See what I'm saying? They named their two cities Hiroshima and Nagasaki because Hiro means Heru, which is Horus, the sun god. Nagasaki, which means the Nagas, the serpent gods. Okay, and their writing was in the form of hieroglyphics, and you wrote it from right to left, just like on the walls of Kemet. Okay, they also had pyramids that were built in Japan. Okay, to basically house their queen. Okay, and this is why they were bombed. This is why the fucking Zionist Jew devils waited 4 years after Pearl Harbor, okay, to bomb Hiroshima. You don't wait 4 years to bomb somebody who's really that much of a threat to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to wake up. It's time to come out of her, my people. It's time to do your own research, okay, because we've been lied to. Okay, that's really all I had to say on this subject. Like I said, it all goes back to the Asiatic Moors who were ruling on this planet. Okay, from this time period, okay, all the way up until 1492, those blood moons of 1492, these Asiatic Moors were not abiding by the 42 laws of Ma'at, so the blood moon went against them, went against their energy, went against their auras, and they lost their consciousness, and the Asiatic Moors were enslaved, and they lost their identity for centuries, and that's who we are. That's who we are. We lost our identity. We lost our power across the world. 1492, the blood moons. But damn it, you see what I'm saying? My goal is to get our consciousness back and to get our power structure back to where we once were. These Asiatic Moors who were keepers of the earth, DNA strands of God's cell, which is the earth. Okay? I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. It's a chosen one, man. I'm out.